Hello everyone. My name is Teddy Wanashe. Thank you so for my YouTube channel name, or Teddy, and I'll be going over the Persona 5 review today with you all. And first thing first, I'll say welcome. I pray God watches over you today, and that you may just stick around for a bit as we sit through this. Okay. And yeah, I guess I want to start with the introduction. The reason why I'm doing this, like over a game that's already been released, that's already being talked over with, that's already been released like years ago, and not many people are playing it right now anymore as well. But I just wanted to like provide like my a Christian view or a Christian way of looking at things from at certain games. I believe there are lots of good game reviewers out there in the world right now, but I also feel like some of them don't really include the Christian aspect, and that's sometimes something that I'm looking for when I want to play a new game or something like that, and I want information. So as a person who's played this game before, I played it recently, I just thought I would also just provide the review of this game as well. So let's get into it. So yes, I'm recently talking about Persona 5 Royal. I played on PlayStation 5 on a console with a big fat TV, and I guess just to outline things, I'll be going over a few things. I'll be going over the combat, I'll be going over the story itself, the world itself as well, and maybe at the end there'll be like side attentions, like things that you could say they were part of the world or part of the combat, but you can't say it was fully combat, or you could not say it was fully part of the world, but just side actions that you just liked about the game itself, or maybe side actions that you just said, oh, there's something that you also know that the developers did to make this game more fun or bad. That's how it is. So yeah, so obviously I'll start off with the combat because we all play games for generally just have fun playing with them. Okay, so combat, the combat of Persona 5 review of Persona 5 Royal is that one. It is simple. I think it's simple to understand, simple to get used to. I think throughout as you progress throughout the game, you unlock more characters and you get to decide on a way you want to play. You can play physical, you can play MPs, or use that. You could call it maybe magic attacks if you want to call it like that, and or SP. I think it's called skill points. In a different way, you can attack in various ways with various elements that you can use at your preview, and obviously obviously there are going to be enemies that are going to have different weaknesses and resistances and everything, so it's always best to build like a well-managed team. I was able to do that quite simply. It was a bit difficult at the very beginning, but as I said, as you get more characters, that means you have more variety. As you progress in the game, you'll also be able to switch the characters as well. So yeah, you can play with varieties of teams. And what else? Yeah, I think it's super fun. You can try different combos if you ever want like that. So you can say that's a good plus for me. And then we can look at also the adjustable difficulty. I think games that allow you to adjust difficulty make it maybe easier for you, or maybe more challenging for you, are games I also kind of like myself. I always and there are times when I want to go through like a game story very quickly, I usually just go straight to the easy mode, story mode. And maybe the times when I say I want to spend lots of time, I might just go on a normal or hard, or I've never gone on hard before because that feels beyond me, and I don't want to put too much of it in a game that's meant for fun, meant to be just fun. So, yeah, I guess you could say that's the part of the combat. Yeah, lots of places where the enemies are challenging as well. You will meet some enemies that are super difficult to take on, but I believe that if it's put on you through various experiences and proper team building, you do have to spend a little time managing on how you want to play your team, how you're gonna deal with certain situations when you face certain enemies. So some planning is agreed, but yeah, that is basically the combat by itself. In general, I think it's pretty good. You can also say you also get to build up personas. You can buy some. You can with currency that you get through the game, and you can also what's that other word I'm looking for? Yeah, you get to buy some. You can buy certain characters that you or certain personas that you need to help with your combat, which makes it easy. But it's only applicable to only one character, so it's not that useful for other characters. So yeah, you get lots of variety for one character, but not for the rest. Everyone stays with a certain element and a certain assigned skills that they use. So yeah, certain team building is needed. I hope this is carefully simplified and easy for you guys to understand. On to next, we are going to go on to the story of the game. So, story of the game, I guess I'll try to make it as simple as possible because I don't want to take too much of your time. I guess the story of the game is that it is a story of a group of people, people who have been, done dirty by the world, and they want to do right by it. They want to fix the things that have been wrong, fix the things that they want to fix the people who have wronged them, and want to change their hearts and make them much better, good people. You could say that looks like a very good story in and of itself, and maybe you could say that's I mean, many people click to it and everything else. For me, I had some qualms with it. I had some issues with it. I had issues with the story itself. You could say yes, there's like good friendship and everything else, and obviously these people have gone. You could say the characters themselves have gone through some terrible stuff. They've been been mistreated by some family members, or maybe they've got into some trouble with some dangerous people, and you can feel like the world is against them, and they fight back so that they can have a reason to live and everything else, but in general for all, I would say that it goes on the essence of self-righteousness. I'm not sure if people really understand it, so you can call it pride. You could say that the characters themselves, even though I can say that they're very well designed and with their flaws and weaknesses and everything else, and also there are good points about them. You could also say that the story generally moves towards where human beings get to decide what is right for them. That even if you're like a god, you do not have the right to say. You do not have the right to tell what human beings should do. Human beings have the ultimate will. They can do anything they put their hearts to, and some of you might have qualms with that, but I still feel like that's self-righteousness, that's pride, that's relying on yourself other than God, and that's how I pick issues with that. There's also parts where you be using things like devil powers against a godlike being. Like that's what happens in the end. I didn't like it. I kind of skipped that part, and I didn't like it. But yeah, those are my issues with it. The idea of that we can make justice, we do justice right and everything else, and I would say that our world is very broken, and I don't think us doing right will fix it all, and I don't think us, even if we had special powers, would make it even righter either way. So obviously you can say this is just a game and everything else, but I think it's just important to just point that out and just say these are things about the story. I do not believe that we're the ones who should be doing just this. The Christian way I'm looking at it as well. This is the way I read through my own scriptures as I read through the Bible as well. And yeah, so I believe that is the qualms. Other than that, I think there are good side stories where you get to help other people out, and but yeah, that is my part about the story itself. The world itself is, I think it's pretty interesting. I guess you can say it is taking place in Tokyo. I've never been there before, so I do not know how real it is compared to the actual Tokyo it is. But you could say that the world itself, the dungeons that you fight in, they are all different. They're all intrigued. They are all special in its own way. They're all different, and they're all fun to explore. And enemies, they're all different in each and every region, and you get to explore various ways. There's the dungeons that you usually go and you can call them palaces. That's what you call them. But yeah, to me, they're just basically dungeons where you go and take down the big boss and steal their treasure. And then there's the other, like you call it the main dungeon or the game story dungeon, where you progress there as you progress the story, and it helps you figure out like what this whole story is all about in the end. But yeah, the world is pretty stuff. It's quite interesting. I liked it a bit. As you can say, I did have a problem with like all the NPCs or the side characters. They were not properly designed. But see, if you're making a world as big as Tokyo and you want to give each and every NPC a proper good face, that is very difficult, a lot of time consuming. So I'm willing to just say, well, those are just some things that they just couldn't do. in their time constraints. Then let's see what else. I guess going to school life, it was pretty neat as well. To go to school, study, meet up with friends, hang out with friends, do various activities like go to the movies, go to the arcade, play, video games in a video game, which was quite funny. It's just kind of funny in of itself. As I said, side quests were pretty good. You can also foster relationships, which I believe will also help you out in combat in the future. But yeah, you foster relationship with the characters themselves, or other characters that you know. What else? What else? You can fast travel, and yeah, fast travel to me is always the best. Yeah, you get to do freedom to do anything. So, usually in some games, you're usually forced to, progress the main story when you get to this point that you can't do anything else than to progress the main story. But in this game, you could say it's almost the same way, but you do have a lot more freedom how you do it, how you go accomplish certain tasks that you're given. So you do have more options and free way to do it. So I think that is super important, super nice to enjoy. Then uh, we can now go possibly on to like maybe decide attentions or things like that. So I think side attentions. I know the thing I didn't talk about in combat was like the arcanes, or I think you call them tarot cards, but I believe they're called arcanes. And I guess that is the combat. That's also a little bit about the combat system. From what I heard from like a certain people that I listen to, they say these things are very demonic. These cards, where you talk about the Lord card, the Devil card, the Angel card, all that stuff, Magician card, and all those stuff, like all those arcanums, those are very, very, like, from what I've heard, they're very demonic. And part of me looks like to agree with them. They do look quite suspicious, and part of me did not trust them. I did not like that part when I was playing through the game. I didn't like using them, and obviously relationships that involve certain characters and fortune telling. Those are just things that I just did not like in general. For me, as a person who worships Jesus, I will look at these and say, I don't think we should be messing with these. So those are how I looked at these certain points, and obviously those are my qualms about the side stories as well. And then let's see, what are the other things that I felt like, what are the other side attentions? Yeah, I guess the arcanes were the things that I found were not something that I genuinely enjoyed or liked. To me, that was the main negative, other than the story itself as well. That also felt like a negative as well. I think most of the part of the music of the game as well. I think it sounded it was pretty good. Obviously, it's secular music, so it's something that you can listen to as you progress to dungeons or go throughout the story. I think it was well done as well. I'm quite enjoyed listening to it a little bit as I roamed through dungeons or as I went to classes and did various school activities. Um, he is Persona a good game? I guess that would be obviously the main question that people will be asking, or if a parent wants to see this game good enough for my child and everything else. I would say I think it's a very fun, interesting world itself that I think anyone can find can and will naturally come to enjoy. But obviously, my qualms are obviously with the arcanes and the devil arcanums and all that stuff, all that demonic stuff. I don't think we should get entangled with that because that's very dangerous. It might bring demonic stuff into your life. I I know some people can have their certain views that you can try to avoid it and everything, but I played through it all and I just say, yeah, I don't think it is the right move or the right direction that we should be going at, and that's how I viewed it as well. Other than that, everything else looked like a pretty neat thing to me. I think if you want to play a game similar to that, I guess you can play a game like Metaphor Fantasia. It's made by the same company as well, but they don't do all the Arcanum stuff, so they use a different archetypes for that. So that's another thing if you want to avoid all that stuff. The story might also be a little bit weird or different. It still kind of revolves under, how human beings can make everything right and everything else without God themselves. So that's a qualm that you guys can also pick and choose with it. But yeah, that's something that those are like generally my main topics about this game as well. I will be posting this. This is my first video. Hopefully, you'll be able to make more. I will be making a video about another game that I've been trying out lately called Kingdom Come Deliverance. So I'll also maybe in a few weeks I'll probably post a review after I'm finally done playing it. It is a long game, so it might take me a while, but hopefully I'll finish and post it soon. I will be trying to produce videos like these going into the future, and I just want to see if this is where God is leading me. Yeah, I generally do want to try to provide like a Christian aspect to certain Christian aspect to reviews when we talk about certain games, because I feel like that's like what certain Christians are suddenly looking for if they're looking for a good game to play with, but they don't know, is this very good, is this very bad for me, should I play it, should I not? And that's what I'm here to do. Hopefully my opinions might help a bit. These are, as I said, these are my opinions. If you have any suggestions or any comments, I'm willing to listen to. You can also subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot. Yeah. And if you have any games that you think you might want me to review, I'm willing to do that as well. So yeah, I wish you guys all a blessed day. God be with you. May God watch over your steps, and yeah, I'll be praying for you. Please pray for me. Yeah, have a nice day.